Today we chapter 7. It's about communication and conflict. This chapter will deal with how to communicate better, because they believe that a lot of problem in our church or in our family happen because we miscommunication. We miscommunicate with the people. For example, we misunderstand when people say something. And when we say something, people misunderstood us. So that can cause problem. So today we're going to go back to think about how to communicate better, how to clarify ourselves. And another thing is, talk about communication. We always think about what we speak, but in fact, what we say is just about 10-20%. And what we don't is about 10%. What that mean? It means that people listen to us, understand us, maybe 20% out of our words, where the 80% come from. The 80% come from what they look at us. They look at our eye, our movement, our hand, our emotion, whatever allow us, they call non-verbal language. Or whatever you act out while you speak is communicate up to 80% what people understand you. What you say might just say around 20%. So now we think about communication is everything, not just words. Your action, the tone of your voice, the way you speak, it communicates everything. I can make some example, and I want you to react to that. They say a lot of Chinese, when they speak, you think that they are fighting, but they say even worse, the Korean. A lot of Korean, when they speak with a lot of action, and a lot of American think that, but they are no, they're not fighting. That's very normal, the way they speak to each other. So now you see different culture misunderstood another culture, the way they speak to each other. So you see that misunderstanding can happen all the time, especially to a different culture. Yes, we can learn about culture, but still a lot of things you cannot learn. You have to live with it, grow up with it to understand the situation very well. So we say that poor communication is not just we don't talk, but how we talk and how we react. It's everything. So the chapter tries to help us to be a better communicator. And that give us some advice, like the 5 advice we can get. Communicate relentlessly. It means that you be very clear what you think, what you want to tell them. Make it simple and direct. Listen while you communicate with people. People have reaction. And then we show that they understand, they're interested, and they don't interested, or how the reaction while you try to communicate. Well, you can use a story to make it clearer, make the situation easier for people to get involved. And then show your action. Word go with action. A lot of time it's not just words. Now, some advice how we speak. Focus on behavior, not on your interpretation. Avoid the use of always or never. This is in English, the way that in English how they communicate. Use I statement. It's more direct. You say that I want to do this. I understand that. It better straight about you. Say what you want to say rather than what you don't want. It's more positive when you communicate instead of trying to be negative. People don't like negative. Beware of your non-verbal message. It means that beside what you say, I say 80% is what you're not saying. Communicate a lot. Your action, your tone of voice, the way you speak is a lot telling people. And it's always good to apologize when you're not clear or people misunderstood you or you feel that they don't like what you say. Give them a chance to speak. The best communication is two-way, not one way. What that mean? Mean that you speak and listen to them. Let them respond. That's more dialogue than lecture. You know that when you talk to your children, they always complain that you lecture again because you don't allow them to speak. You just want them to listen. So this is not the best way to communicate. The best way is we call dialogue, mean that we talk. We say and we stop, we listen, we respond. And this is the best way to communicate. So this is more in detail. We come back that you focus on behavior, not on the interpretation. You see that a lot of time when we speak, people try to interpret what we say, especially when we're not clear. Or when we say around it, and especially in Asian culture, we don't want to go to the point, straight to the point. We go around it. And when we go around it, people can misunderstood us a lot. People try to guess what we try to say. Why we don't go straight to the point? Because of culture. We don't to hurt people's feeling, and we don't want to hit the target right away. That's our culture. Well, it's beautiful in that, but the problem is people misunderstood a lot. And people can interpret in so many ways. So we be very careful when we go around and don't go to the point, and people misunderstood us, and that can cause a lot of problems. Avoid the use of always or never because it's not clear. In English language, when we use always, it means that it's not sure. And never, it means that negative. So this is English language, but in our culture, it might be some other words that when we put it in our sentence, it makes people misunderstood us or make people feel that you are not sure what you're talking about, or they're not sure that what you try to say. Some words, think about it. And in English, when you use the word I instead of they or he or she, it means that you directly talking about how you feel, what you think, not some other people say, not other people think. It's better communicate this way. When you use the word they or he or she, sometimes it becomes a rumor or gossip. It's not the fact. So you use the word I in English language, it means that you know what happened, you see what happened, or you feel what you feel. And this is better communication this way, instead of trying to share the rumor or the gossip. It's not helping, especially in church or in your family. Say what you want to say rather than what you don't want. it means that more on the positive side better than the negative side. We can always find a good thing to talk about people instead of emphasize the bad thing. For example, when you do something, you talk about the good thing of doing that instead of why you want to do that because of bad thing, bad experience. And people don't want to hear about a lot of bad things. They just want to hear about the good thing, why. But now when you have both bad thing and good thing, what should you choose? Now, sometimes you need to balance that. But still, bad thing, you still can talk on the positive side that, well, thing can turn bad, but we hope we can do better next time. And this is number 5, it come back again. What you don't say is louder than what you say. It means that your nonverbal, your action, your hand movement, the tone of your voice, the speed of what you say, and the words you select can impact more than your message, can impact more than what you say. So be careful on that. And number 6 means that always ready to apologize because we can misunderstood, we can make mistake, or what we say might hurt people too, even you don't intend to. But when you feel that people start getting hurt or don't feel comfortable, it might be something that you say. So it's always better to apologize that you not have bad intention, but sometimes people misunderstood you, or that words or that sentence or that thing might hurt people feeling. Give them a chance to speak back, that go back to dialogue, two-way communication. This is the best way. You talk some, let people respond some, and clarify some, check with them, they understand you correctly, or they have question. The question can tell you that they understand you correct or not, correctly or not. A lot of time after your speech, you think people understand, but no, they misunderstood you, or they have bad reaction. So it's always good to stop and check. So this is some idea. In church or in family, they recommend that active listening. It means that a lot of people think that, oh, listen is easy, but no. To be an active and very good listener, you need to learn and train to be a good listener. It doesn't mean that you just stop talking, it means that you listen. No, a lot of time your mind go around. The active listening means that you pay attention to what they say, try to understand them, digest what they say. A lot of time people don't tell you everything. There is clue, there is sign come out from their tone, from the selected words they use, or the speed what they say, and the hand action, the eye sight, everything. So active listening means that you spend time, listen, and observe, pay attention. And non-verbal communication is so important. So be careful on this. Now, some advice when you feel that people start to get or not feel comfortable when you talk to them or try to communicate to them. They advise you calm down, calm down. When people bring complaint to you or start react in the not in a good way, yourself need to calm down and go specific to what they feel. And all these things will help. Talk to about the thing, the problem, instead about try to accusing people, and be kind. All these things can help. And here more, they say that there are 10 ways to help communicate and improve your communication skill. And this is something we need to learn. They say that listen, listen, and listen. And we all say that active listening is not just keep quiet, but mean that you pay attention to all detail. Whatever they say and whatever they don't say. And some people say, oh, do I need to take note? Oh, yes. Sometimes when people talk a long talk, you might cannot remember everything. You might take some note of something that you feel important, or you get out of what they say. So you can respond specifically to what their concern, what they think, or what their problem is. Who you are talking to matter. What that means? Not everyone that you need to respond the same way. You need to pay attention to different people because they have different way to talk to you. If you listen to your boss or your co-worker or your employee, it's so different thing. The way they talk to you is different. And what they concern might be not the same thing too. So when you react to your boss or to your teamwork or your employee, it might not be the same. So pay attention to who talking to you or who try to communicate to you. Body language matter. We talk a lot about 80% of communication, it comes from body language. The way they sit, the way they stand, the way they look at you, their eye contact, their face action, and everything through their body language tell you. Check your message before you hit send. It means that double check, triple check what you try to say. Sometimes the first time you think you want to say that, but after a while you feel that it might not be appropriate. You want to change that. So give yourself time to rethink. Don't send it right away. A lot of time when you're angry, you want to send the text right away, but calm down. Spend some time. A lot of time you will change your mind or make it better. So take time. Be brief and be specific. Mean that a lot of time we talk too much, too long, and confuse people. If you can speak something in a few sentences and can communicate everything you want to say better than the whole hour. Because a lot of time what we say, it confuses people and make things more complicated. But I know at culture, a lot of time we cannot go straight to the point. But still, when you go around the topic, you have to be careful. Sometimes it makes things worse. Writing down, sometimes it's better to write down what you have to say. Because when you can see, you can think again and you can change. Sometimes when you write down, you can see that, oh, it's too serious or too harsh. You need to tone down or you need to change. When you don't see it, sometimes you don't feel it until you write it down. Sometimes it's better to pick up the phone. Why? Because sometimes personal contact better than email, text, or something. I know modern young people love texting. They don't want to talk on the phone. But a lot of time, personal talk is better than text or email. So you need to decide what will work better, especially through generation. I know that all your children now doesn't want to talk on the phone. They just love texting, short, straight, fast for that generation. But a lot of important things, text cannot do the job. It might cause more problem. And a lot of time, it's better than everything is talk to them by the phone or face to face. It works better that way. Think before you speak is always the best advice. Think several times before you speak. It's better than to think after you speak. Think before you speak. When you speak and you come to think, and now the problem already have, you already start the conflict. But if you think a lot before you speak, you can prevent a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of conflict later on. Treat everyone equally. What that means? Well, sometimes you think that is a kid. I don't care. I can do anything I want. No. Even little kid, you need to care. Or you think that, oh, he is nobody. I don't need to worry about him too much. Well, he a person too. We need to pay attention to him equally. Or you think, oh, this guy is so important. I need to pay him respect and treat him very well. Well, to treat everyone very well, that's good, but don't treat every other person badly. Treat everyone good, that's good. Number 10, they say that maintain a positive attitude and smile. So this 10 rule is a good thing. Always speak positively with a smile. Mean that you have good intention. You heard a story that not long ago, a CEO called a Zoom meeting and fired, I think, 300 or 500 employees in that Zoom meeting. He fired everyone, about 300-400 people. Well, you think that's a good meeting? They say that, thank you for coming. All of you, 400-500 people got fired. It's short and it's a talk meeting. Everyone who popped up in that Zoom meeting got fired. You think that's a good idea to fire 500 people to the Zoom conference? Well, I think he can handle that a lot better in a different way. I don't think anyone like that call in a big Zoom meeting and everyone got fired. And I heard that now he's coming back and he's going to fight maybe 300-400 more people. Maybe the whole company got fired. Well, he said that for the survival of his company, he have to get rid of most of his employees. But still, you can do a better way, better job. This is life and death for so many people. Don't take it lightly. People who got fired have family to take care, and you care for their feeling. And you don't just think about yourself, that you get rid of everyone real quick and fast, save your time, save your money. But the consequence is so bad. It's not just for them, it's for you and your company too. So I will come back to you and want your reflection about this 10 advice. How you think that which one is the most important to you, and you think that a lot of time we forget to think about it. Listening, who you're talking to, body language. Take time to check your message, brief, specific, lie down. Sometimes talk directly or think before you speak. Treat everyone equally and maintain positive attitude. Which one that you think is the most important advice that you use in your communication, and which one that you need to work on the most? This 10 point, I want you to spend some time to think and reflect on it. We need to talk about this 10 advice. Okay, I will come back to you for your reflection. Which one that you think that important to you in your communication, and which one that you still need to work on a lot that you're missing? So I need your reflection.
I need 10 of them.
Me too, Ajahn.
Sometimes I say too short and Farm said, what are you saying? I don't understand.
Anyone say sometimes you speak too much?
No.
No.
Oh, he said to me, he said, I say too much.
Yeah, I don't talk a lot, but Farm talks a lot. So she helps me a lot.
I don't know if it's good or bad.
My wife always complain that I not talk. I say man have maybe 500 words a day. I already use all in my teaching. But women have 5,000 words to say a day, and she never have a chance to speak to anyone. When her husband come home, she speak all to him, 5,000 words.
Is that true, Ajahn?
By average, men speak around 500 words a day, but women 5,000 words a day.
Probably that it back to me, because when I working that time, deal with the customer and then this and that. When you come home and then sometime Farm talk to me, sometime maybe I pay attention but I don't answer that. She said, did you hear me? What I said? Maybe that is the point. I see that number 7, Ajahn. Number 7, treat equally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, that's very, very important to me.
This is number 9.
Number 9, yeah.
What is your number 9?
For me, hard to listen. Sometimes I want to say when people talk, and I want to say that one is hard for me to learn how to listen. I have to work on it.
Which number?
Let me see. To check it out.
Yeah, I feel another thing, a lot of time we overlook is body language. The thing that people don't say.
Oh, yeah, I see that one too. Body language. Sometimes it's really hurt. It's really hurt people. Yeah. Yep, and that one.
Yeah, because we ignore or we overlook the body language. And especially in our culture, a lot of people don't speak, but they act. And you need to read the action.
Yeah, I think number 3, like most people don't talk but use the body language like especially like a woman, you know. I don't complain a woman, but we know that, you know.
Yeah, in a lot of our meeting, when you ask their response, nobody say a word. But you look at them, they already tell you what they think. Look at each one of them.
Exactly, that's the body language. They already say something inside the body.
And you can guess that what they respond to you through their body language, even they don't say a word. A lot of time when you talk to your kid and say yes or no, they don't say a word, but you look at them, you can tell yes or no.
Yeah, John, I have experience for the body language that how the police can catch you, because we do have experience in my family. That is my sister's son. They both went out, and then someone asked my sister's son, "Can we do this?" And then he used his body language because the camera catch it, and then he just you know what, whatever that mean, and then he got go to jail like at least 3 years. 3 years. If he didn't do something, and then that's okay, but he just up to you, right? The body language just shake your, you know,
I don't know or something.
probably he said, I don't know, maybe. That's why the judge said, oh, this is you authorize someone. If you say no, and then that guy didn't do nothing, that's why. Maybe that is the point.
Yeah, you see that sometimes you say, I don't say a word, but your body language already say a lot louder than that. And people already judge you from your body language. Yes, the police get training on that. They look at you, even you don't say a word. And they can guess that you are guilty or not by looking at you.
Another word we can say that like we know by accent, right, Ajahn?
Yes. We sometimes we don't know that our eye contacts, our hand, our feet, the way we sit, the way we check our body, keep talking. So all the expert can tell what we're saying through our action, our body language.
Yeah, John, I remember one time for the video of the Bin Laden, that the FBI they caught that video, and then they can translate all kind what he said. So yes.
So we need to get some training or skill to understand other people by the body language too. A lot of time we ignore that, or we don't care about that, or we just care about what they say. But what they say just 80%. For example, when you feel that people say, yes, I want to do joy with you. Now you need to look at their body language, that they're really happy to work with you, or they're not happy at all. When your kids say, okay, yes, mom or dad, and you can tell that they're happy with it or not. When they say yes, doesn't mean that they're always happy. And a lot of time that yes doesn't mean yes. And a lot of time then no doesn't mean no. So you cannot say that you said yes. Yes, their mouth say, but their action, their heart is not yes.
Ajahn, that's why they said that in English, they said your actions speak louder than a word.
Yes.
That's how I see every time when I talk to my Web 2 boys. So Zach is 21 and Daniel 14. So every time when I talk to them individually, I know Zach said, yeah, but then when I look at his eye and his face, I said, he's I said, no, that's not you know, I can see in your action, you know. So I pull him back. I said, okay, let's talk again. I don't think you agree, you know. So it's very important. Sometimes I try not to look too much. You know, if I look too close too much, then you know it hurts too much. You know, when you work around people. So sometimes I try to not to stay too focused on the body action. Just let them talk. And sometimes there are many ways that we have to learn to adjust. So that way we can work better with the people. Because not everyone agree, you say, or they say, so you know, we have to work as a team and we have to listen more, like you said. Because sometimes when we talk too much, it doesn't help us, it doesn't help them, you know? So it's better to listen and then take it from there.
Yeah, for the chapter, it tried to help us to be a better communicator, to speak or to act, and people understand us correctly. And at the same time, we understand other people better too. A lot of time we guess wrong. You ever think this way that you can guess everything and right, but in most study, we found out that when we guess, most of the time we guess wrong. Even the one who have a lot of experience, when they guess, they still make a lot of mistakes. Yes, Kat.
Ajahn, what I see the culture for American culture and Asian culture, sometimes when I see if they said yes in the American culture, no matter what they want or they don't want, but for almost 100%, they okay. If for the Asian culture, if they say no, sometimes they still yes. But I see that different, Ajahn, so too much different. Even though they say no, sometimes they go for it, yes.
Yeah, so beside the body language, you still have to know the culture too, that you're right. Because different culture have different way to communicate. This is why a lot of Americans misunderstood Asian people.
Right. They underestimate sometimes, yes.
For example, a lot of quiet and they say so timid, don't know to do anything. But a lot of Asian, because that have to be humble.
Right.
And don't need to speak out. So you need to understand culture too. This is why a lot of missionaries who went to work in Asia not win any Asian because they don't understand the culture. They say that they learn the language for a year or two and they can do anything. No, culture take a lifetime to learn. You need to live with it, grow up with it to understand the culture. So by the way, to say that you need to soak in, submit. Modern day, they call immerse into the culture. You cannot learn the culture by textbook. You need to submerge in the culture. Mean that go and live in the culture.
Ajahn, I don't know in Thai or Lao, but in Mien, like when you have a conversation with the other people, like elderly in Mien, they in the past, I know they don't look into each other's eye. You know, the American people, you have to have an eye contact, right? If you don't have eye contact when you speak to American people, then they think you're rude, right? So in the end, if you have eye contact with them, then you're rude. So sometimes you have to really think who you talk to. Yeah, because I always have a hard time sometimes when I'm out there working with the people. When I work with the young people that I know, when I talk to them, it's okay for me to have eye contact. But with older people, they think you disrespect them. I don't know. Sometimes I get all confused and it's hard. I don't know about Thai culture, Lao culture.
Well, in Thai culture, when you look at the eye, it means that you challenge them.
Same thing, Ajahn. Same thing. Mien is like you threatening.
Yeah.
Threatening.
They can kill you.
Yeah, Lao, Thai, the same thing. We come from the same country, same accent.
Yeah.
You can look in the face, you look fake, and the fun in your face too. So yeah, be careful, But American people, we talk one time when they talk with the pastor in the church, American church, say, why you don't look in my face when you talk? You talk with me. I tell him, I say, pastor, we culture, we can look in the face. You talk from your heart, so we can look. If you go to Asia, you can look in your face. They talk, and they can fun in your face. And he laughed on me. So that's example. I tell him this. We culture different, So the same. We learn together. There's a different culture in American. They want to. The same. Ajahn said, you look in your face, what your accent in your eye, what I understand that. Mostly me and him, we don't get along because I think in the culture, our culture and American culture is different. So sometimes he say everything, I say to him, well, pastor, you don't have to say that. I know what you mean. I tell him. After that, he said he don't say nothing. Because we know, right? They thought that we don't know that. Sometimes they say something to you, so. And they try to walk away or they turn away, and we know already, second timing, and they do the same thing. I know, so I learned from my teachers already, so a little bit, but not much. I know how you accent to me. Now you say the one way, but you accent the one way. It's like they call it the joy together. Like a relationship one another. But they say that, but the accent like why you got here? Something mean like that, Until we speak, I speak out. So if you don't like me, you tell me the truth. You don't do accent like that. You tell me you don't like me. You say no, I don't mean like that. After right now, a couple of years come. So if we thank God, we got along each other now. We understand each other a little bit more. Thank God, for the Ajahn teach us about the accent, about body accent. Before we don't know that. But from I went to this learn with Ajahn for 2 years. We learn more on how we never heard it about the body accent, right? We don't never learn it before, so we learn more and a little bit, and how to use it. Thank you, Ajahn. So teach us about that.
You're welcome. So you see, I work with American people and American churches for the last 40 years. And now when I start giving more authority to my people, because I'm planning to retire in the future, now they have a lot of problem working with American pastors, American churches. Why? They say that why now they're bad. I say, no, they're always bad. Why now they have a lot of problem complaining? I say they're always that. But you just need to understand them, work with them. They never deal with all these things. I deal with those people all the time. But now I start letting them deal with it because I'm planning to retire. Now they cannot handle it. They say that why now they're bad.
Ajahn planning to retire?
Well, I thinking that I cannot do everything forever. I'm going to be 68 this year. So I planning to get more people to get involved in a lot of work, so I can do something else.
อาจารย์ I
Yes.
see that one of Khao Kui, he tried to plan to stop, but I believe over 6-7 years already cannot find no one. Same thing like อาจารย์
Some of my members say, we're going to get a PhD pastor. We're going to get one.
Sorry, I have some comment. All those 10 things very useful. However, sometimes we tend to forget because of the emotion come into the place. When you're mad, you not really have time to think about before you speak. Or look at the message before you send. One of those points that you suggest how to improve the communication, but because of the emotion coming to the place and take the higher priority, that you tend to forget and you just speak and causing very big trouble and very big conflict because of that reason too. So
Yeah, you're right, Jian. And the best thing sometimes not to speak better than to speak. Okay, Poon, see you next week. Bye-bye.
So I have a question, Ajahn. Is what, like you said, it's better sometimes when you're mad not to speak than to speak. So, but the other person want to try to resolve the conflict, and then asking you, why don't you speak? Why don't you say anything? And I try to be quiet, or I try to walk away. And that person follow you and and try to talk to you and ask you what happened, how do you deal with that type of the situation?
I think you can say, I need some time. I need some time off. Don't need to talk about it now.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you can come back to deal with it later after that, but not now. Yeah, I think Qian have a good point. A lot of time when we deal with differences or conflict, because both sides get mad, angry, and try to solve the problem. And at that point, no one can solve the problem reasonably because everyone get mad. So better cool off first.
Ajahn, you said you've been dealing with American congregation for many years. When they complain, what do? You always say sorry and say yes all the time. How do you do?
Well, I try to understand that point because they have concern, and a lot of time they misunderstood us, and sometimes they're right. So it's all mixed up. But I think when we try to listen to them, understand them, it's already solved a lot of problems, because a lot of time American people just wanted to listen and care for their concern.
Okay, because I think majority of the churches, Mian churches and Lao Thai churches, I think most of us we just share American buildings, So I think more or less we always have problem, more or less.
Yes. And you need to understand from American perspective, there are really people who follow the rule orders very specifically. But our culture, we just have law and rule, but a lot of time we don't follow. And that is a real fact. So you see that American will come to you with, okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And that's the way they deal with problem. So you need to understand where they come from, accept what they concern, listen to them, and tell them you try your best. And a lot of time, I think they understand after that, but next week, next month, they come back again with the same problem, and you listen to them again. I have been doing this for 40 years now.
Yeah, I know. Now we are okay because we are part of American church. We are
Yes.
members, so we are easy to work with now. But back when we were in Oakland, there was a lot of problem.
And after a few years, they change pastor, they change again, a new group, don't know anything, and you start all over again. And I want to give you some advice too. God in control of everything. Believe me, when you're serving God, you're faithful to God, a lot of times God help you solve the problem. And sometimes you just need to wait for God to solve the problem. You know that in my 40 year, I went through at least 10 sets of pastor and church leader in American church that we share the facility, at least 10 groups. And every group will have problem when they start, a lot of big problem. And many groups try to kick us out, try to get rid of us. But we wait and pray, and finally God get involved. We're still there, and those people disappear. So if you're faithful to God, you serve God, and this is God owns everything. Everything belongs to God. It's not people can act that they own anything. So the best way, the best thing to solve your problem is always go back to God. Okay, what's else that you feel that you want your concern for what we learned today? Okay, if nothing else, we go back to the lesson. Okay, we go to that 10 point of advice. And now some more advice, or they call for the conflict resolution. Now try to solve the problem or differences. The first advice is wait for the right time. There is a time for everything. Sometimes you try to do this at the wrong time, it's not helping. So let us have the wisdom from God to wait for the right time, to do the right thing. It's not what you do, it matters much at the timing of everything. The right time to do it. Listening, still come back. While you're waiting, still listen. People will complain, people will give advice, people will talk, just listen. Listen carefully. And I use the word active, mean that not just don't pay much attention, just let people talk, but you pay attention to what they talk. Share on deep feeling level, mean that this is mean that you care and you want to solve the problem, you want to help. No interruption except for clarification, mean that you really support other people feeling or what they say or what they express. Don't try to interrupt them. Don't try to stop them. A lot of time people want to express what they feel, want to share, and sometimes we stop them. Yes, I know sometimes we need to make them make it shorter when we don't have much time. And now the problem is you have a big group and you try to understand someone who have a lot of things to share and the rest don't want to listen. How do you deal with that? You become in the middle. You want this person to talk and the rest don't want to listen anymore. He say, this guy talk too much all the time, never stop. And now how do you deal with that two group? The group that still want to talk and the group who don't want to listen anymore. Too much. How do you bridge that two group? That is the question that I will come back to you. That you need to find a solution between two groups. The group that still want to talk and the group who don't want to listen anymore. They compare that too long, too much, boring. And this group say, oh, we still need to express, need to talk, need to share. And this group say, enough. How do you deal with this situation? Equal time to each for sharing. This is some advice, but in reality, it's always impossible. Someone always want more time. And someone feel that somebody take all the time and not have enough time for everything. Control your anger. Don't let anyone control the whole meeting or the whole group with the anger. It's always someone get angry, but you need to cool them down and don't let them take over the whole meeting. And silence. In American culture, silence is not acceptable. But in our culture, you heard about this all the time. Silence. And this is the response, the silence. You say, how you feel? Nobody say a word. And you say, I want your response. Nobody responds. In fact, they already respond. You just need to read their silence. Why they silence? A lot of time when people silent, it means no. They're not happy. Very few when they're silent mean that they agree or they say yes. But most of the time it means that they're not happy. They don't agree. Most of the time in Asian culture. Use I, not you, or we statement. Why they say that is your personal feeling. Don't put words in other people's mouth. Don't claim that other people agree with you. It's just you who think this way, or let other people decide what they think, what they feel. This is a statement. Don't always say, we always do this. We never done that, because it means that you shut out other people's idea. Yes, in the past we always do this, but it not necessarily mean we have to be always do it this time. Culture, yes, but things can change. But when we always say always, never, it means that we don't allow other ideas to pop up. Another advice, they say keep it here and now, mean that things that work in the past might not work now. Things that might work in the future might not work now. We talk about now. So deal about situation now. How to deal with now. Don't talk about future. Don't talk about the past. It's already past. So try to live in reality about now. No quick advice. Well, a lot of things take time. And don't think that quick decision or quick advice will work all the time. No jumping to conclusion. What that mean? A lot of time we say, okay, done. We decide this, but something is not that easy. Sometimes it's the open end, mean that never have conclusion. The problem will keep go on, but at least we deal with it. Like sometimes when you're sick and you talk to the doctor, what is the cure? Why I never get well? Well, the doctor said that we just can maintain it, no healing. So you need to accept the situation, no healing, but to maintain your health as long as we can. And a lot of time is that will happen. No final solution, but the best we can do, keep it go on. And a lot of people say that just quit everything and done. Well, quitting is not solving problem too. It just run away from problem. No quick judgment. Yeah, a lot of time we try to make decision and just right, wrong, good, bad. But a lot of time there's not that easy answer. A lot of time we just have to leave it that way and take time. And they say that no judging motive mean that come to the problem with open-minded, anything possible. Don't have the judging motive mean that you already decide this guy bad and you don't want to listen to him whatsoever. So that is not a good idea. Open mind mean that you will listen, pay attention, be patient and quick to forgive. This is the Christian way. If you get angry so quick, you cannot help much. We need a lot of people who can be patient and always ready to forgive. And later on, we will talk about how to set up some good thing in your organization that will help solve the future problem. Set something up. For example, they say that you set some kind of formula to solve the problem before it happens. For example, you have a line of communication. For example, when members have concern, they know right away where they can talk to, where they can report their concern. Or the committee have concern or problem where they can go to. Don't let them keep that problem and talking, gossiping, and rumoring. Let them have a chance to express what they concern to the right person who will listen to them right away. This it means that you have a standard way. Create a safe space for communication, mean that when people have their concern to talk to a certain people, it's all private and confidential. Mean that you don't announce to the whole church that this guy come to complain about this, about that. And people don't trust you anymore. A lot of time they want it to be secret or private. We need to let people know that whatever they share with you going to be confidential and private. And only them can share with other people. You're not going to announce that concern to the whole world. No. Must be consistent and constant, mean that when you set some guideline, it applies to everyone. You cannot have double standard in your church or in your organization. You need to treat everyone the same standard to be fair to everyone. Don't treat someone special and someone you don't care. Set clear norm and expectation, mean that you set everything at a guideline and people can expect what will come out. For example, in 2 weeks, we will have a meeting. Or in 1 month, we will have some suggestion. People can expect because you have a guideline clear. It's not they tell you something or some problem and you just keep it there for months and months without dealing with it. You need to have some expectation that they can expect. Proactive seeking feedback mean that don't wait until people complain. Mean that you go out and ask them how you feel, how you think, what should we do? And this is some advice that even 50% of American company, 50% of employees feel that they don't have any say. The company never listen to them, and that is bad. What will happen after that? A lot of them will quit, find a new job. So this is mean that we need to listen to our people and care for them. And number 6 advice is today we have all kind of technology. Use it correctly. Use it the right way to help communication. Use it to solve the problem. Don't abuse technology. And don't replace technology with other way. Technology just a supplement, not all the answer for our problem or anything. We use it because we have to. We use it because it's the best option for the time being. But technology cannot replace human being. Master your meeting. What that mean? You need to learn the skill how to lead a meeting and to make it at the right time and let all people to share, not let someone take over the whole meeting and not let someone talk all in all the meeting. So you need to in control. You need to have a step. You need to let people know that we need to move on another topic now. Or let people know that, okay, we need to let another people share now. So you need to in control. We get control of mobile communication. And this is another advice. We have all technology and all mobile communication, but don't let it control you, but you control it. Make it work for your church, your organization. And modern day, we have a lot of people who don't come to church or company anymore. They work at home or they worship at home, but you need to get in touch with them. Even they're at home, they're still part of you. Don't overlook them. Try to get in touch with them and communicate with them all the time. And in the future, we will have more and more people who never come to church, but still worship with you through Zoom or all kind of technology. They're still part of you. And we cannot ignore this group of people anymore because it's going to be bigger and bigger. And believe me, in the future, some churches will have majority of their people away from church, mean that they will never show up at church, but they're still part of the church. Can you imagine that in the near future? Some churches will have most of the members who never show up at church, but still part of the church. It's possible, and it's happening. Collaboration in the cloud, what that mean? A cloud is a new technology that a lot of your information, a lot of your communication is there now. This advice just means that we cannot ignore this technology and the benefit of that. So learn about it, and you assign someone in your church who know how to work with that new thing. It can be a good help to you. Make internal document easily accessible. It means that Don't make it a secret. A lot of things can be accessed by people who need to know. So you are not a secret organization. You are a church or Christian organization that accountable, mean that people can check what you're doing. You open up and you don't have secret. Break down communication silo, mean that some church or organization have many obstacles and they have to get through a lot of things before they get to the right person or the right department. So take down all that. Make it easy for people to get to the right person right away. Help them. Accountability, this is everything. Mean that we open up to people can check us. We don't have secret to hide. And we can tell people everywhere that what we're doing. And more way to improve how we talk with. It go back the same thing again. Listen, body language, ask question, be brief and to the point, take note. And this is the final advice. I think we already talked about this in the past. But so it's important, but that's why they repeat it again at the end. So this is all the thing that we talked about today. Now your concern, your advice, or your question for the topic today, how to be a better communicator in our church or in our organization, in our family. You know that problem will be all there. It's just how we deal with them and live with them. As they say that we will never get rid of COVID. We just learn how to live with it the best we can. And the same thing with problem. We will never get rid of problem. We just learn how to live with it and make the best out of it. So sometimes the teacher asks you, any problem? A student says, no problem. In fact, we have problem. But we just learn how to live with it, or accept it. Any more question or concern or anything else for today?
One,
Yes.
Ajahn. That's a very tough question. That's out of the topic for today. So last week, Ajahn not get in that, but people asking me the Genesis chapter 9, verse 22 to 24, 25. So people asking me that if the harm have something more than that, and then can we point it the the main point, the key point, where is the Bible telling us about the harm did to his father?
Well, you see, we just guessing. You see that people in our times naked all the time, and that's very normal.
That's
People,
how his father cursed him, right? We're guessing that.
yeah. So we look it from the culture of the people there. People have sex with each other all the time, and man with man, man with woman, all things. So we pity thinking that a lot of theologians thinking that Ham have sex with Noah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Ajahn, I'm afraid of they might asking you, but I just hit up time to prepare for you first. Because that, to me, I cannot prove the Bible where is the key point, but I said 24 is the key point. Verse 24, what harm after drunk, but he curse. To me, that is. Oh no, I mean the no yeah. After drunk and then he curse his son. I believe that is the key point.
Yeah, it more than just look at his father naked. It's more than that.
Yeah, thank you, Ajahn.
You're welcome. May told me that she's not going to be there that night. Next Tuesday, May Xiao told me that she busy. She's not going to be the interpreter.
Don't worry, Ajahn. Do whatever you can do. That English people, most people they understand English, but people who come from Vietnam they might not. But we'll try. We'll try to someone can try to a little bit helping Ajahn to
Okay.
interpreter. Yeah.
Okay, you have any more questions for today? Okay, if not, let's pray. Loving God, we thank you that today we can spend time together to learn about your words and how to serve you. I lift up all students before you, be with them, bless them, guide them, protect them until we come back again next week. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.